Ladies and gentlemen, the first frame, Ding Junhui to break.
Ding Junhui to get this last 16 match underway. He's not beaten the Robertson for over 9 years. The 2014 China Open, his last success, but they've only actually played 3 times since then. Well, they'll settle for that first shot. Fergal O'Brien alongside me, and well, this is an interesting one. I know you commentated on Ding the other day. He wasn't overly impressive, but he got the job done. He got used to the conditions, but he'll have to play better, you think, today?
Yes, thank you, David. Yeah, I thought his experience paid off. Wasn't at his very best, but certainly pinched a couple of frames that Lyu Zhiwei should have won. But you definitely feel today he's gone up a class against Neil and just have to reduce those careless mistakes.
Foul and a miss. Ding Junhui 6.
It was worth a look from Ding there, just checking in case anything went.
That's the thing, Robertson, I guess. I mean, he wants to hit the reds, but he'd rather hit the pink than leave a red on.
Yeah, absolutely. A foul of 4 or 6 isn't so bad at certain times.
We've not seen much of Robertson this season. He didn't play in the Championship League. He lost first round of the European Masters to Lyu Zhiwei. He has since qualified for the Wuhan Open, and in that match he made his 900th career century, which is obviously a big milestone for him. But still pretty light on snooker really this season. This is not what the referee needs, is it, for right at the start of the match?
Traditionally over the years, Neil generally has been a good starter. Plenty of times he's actually won the very first ranking event of the season. Great way to start. Plenty of confidence. But of course for him, he's suffering a bit of a drought. Hasn't won an event this year. God love him.
No, I mean, his record is incredible, really. He's won a title of some sort every year since 2006, but as you say, not yet this year. Now, there's still plenty to come, but he wants to keep that record going. He's very proud of it, quite rightly.
Yeah, nice problems to have.
Yes. But it shows how consistent he's been. You know, a lot of players have sort of peaks and troughs, but he has kept coming good every year since that first title.
Touching ball.
He said in the previous shot, once he didn't foul, the last shot fouled, it would be 4 or 6 points. Was far more beneficial than leaving Ding a chance.
Well, it may be playing another real top player will bring the best out in Ding. He does have a really good record against all the top players. Sometimes maybe looks a little flat in other matches, but this is his sort of occasion. If it's going to inspire him, it could be today. He's won this title twice as a ranking event. He's won 6 ranking titles in his native China and 2 minor ranking events as well. So he's got a really good record on home soil.
As well, that was his first match of the season on Monday. You could see a little bit of rust out again, so getting that result out of the way, be a little bit sharper, a little bit more confident. But as you said, also mentally, he knows he has to be at his very best. From my own experience, playing the top players in some ways was easier mentally. You knew you couldn't afford any mistakes. You had to be at your best. You didn't really second guess yourself so much.
12.
Well, it felt like a sort of big early shot, that, and he didn't really get close to the pot.
Also, I thought it was noticeable on the straight and the black. Normally you would expect him to screw back off the cushion with a little bit aside to play red that was in the open. But whilst he won the other day, certainly didn't look to be playing with great confidence. And even the simple shot he played in the black, he could have played that better.
No, it's an interesting contrast because Neil Robertson always looks confident. He sort of comes out with his chest puffed out, doesn't he? Proper performer as well as a great player. Very good at looking like he sort of owns the table, and it's a great way to be in this sport.
3.
Absolutely. Whereas on Monday, at times, even when Ding was leading 4-1, his body language wasn't great. He said if he didn't know the score, he'd actually think he was losing. He said Neil,
4.
the opposite. Even if he's losing 9-0, he still has that positive strut. Struck that beautifully, hit the pink right full in the face.
9.
Consider himself a little bit unfortunate, does have something nicer than that. And also, with that split, it looks like the black's not available into either of the corner pockets.
Two players here who've represented their countries in exemplary fashion. And between them, in terms of ranking titles, they've won 37. Robertson 23, Ding 14, plenty more besides as well. And it is the World Snooker Tour, but it's UK based largely. I mean, the qualifying is all played there, so they've had to, in their careers, base themselves in the UK for most of the year. It's not easy, certainly from a young age, to do that and leave your families behind. So their successes, you've got to credit them for, because it's not quite the same as being able to drive home a couple of hours. You know, you're away from your family for large sections of the year. Of course, they're now both fathers and they've got families of their own.
Yeah, I know myself, travelling from Ireland can sometimes be an inconvenience, but at least you can come back and forth quickly, whereas obviously from China, Australia, once you come over to the UK, you're there for an extended period of time, whether you're playing tournaments or not, which is an extra demand.
Yeah, and when Ding came over initially, when he was very young, sort of 15, 16, there weren't any other Chinese players then. I mean, he was the first real to play from China to break through, so it was quite lonely early on. He didn't really speak a lot of English. Of course, Neil came over, famously only had £500 to his name, settled in Cambridge. So, you know, they made a lot of sacrifices, and as I say, you can only applaud their achievements. Robertson looking good here so far. The early split was a sign that he's going to play his positive game today.
Putting that red, at least he's freed the black into one pocket. Just having a look there to see does one or both of those reds go into the right corner.
Two. 33.
Appears now he seems to have done most of the hard work. Got the black free into both pockets.
Yes, he's just a devastating scorer, isn't he? I mean, at the World Championship this year, in that first round, 2 of the last 3 frames he won, he made 146 breaks, which are as rare as hen's teeth at the best of times. He made 2 in 3 frames.
41.
Yeah, remarkable. Again, it's very early, but as I said, looking positive.
Yes, and it's probably helped him. The players have to come for the opening ceremony, which was on Sunday. So he's been here a few days. He's not rushed here at the last minute. He's got used to conditions. He'll have been practicing, hopefully sleeping properly. All points to maybe a good week for him.
And of course, he's already played a couple of matches this season, but to play Ding Junhui at night time in Shanghai, it's a worst case scenario. Even if it's to lose, it's really got him into the season. And even if he was to lose, it's going to be a very good indicator where his game is at and what he needs to do. Particularly as we have a very busy period coming up. And then, of course, on the other side, if he can win this, get the confidence, stand with great set.
57.
I thought there was times last year when he wasn't playing at his very best. Seemed to be just taking that extra few seconds longer, and it wasn't a good sign. Generally at his best, his average shot times around 21, 22. And a period, even particularly in the World Championships, that was leaking towards 27, 28. I think he's aware of that and did not acknowledge it himself. He's at his best when he's playing positive attacking snooker.
Yeah, well, he's a great self-analyst. You know, he'll watch this match back later. And the good news, Neil, is if you're watching it, you've started really well here. This has been excellent. Ding Junhui took on that sort of cut back red, didn't get close to it. And Robertson has
72.
pounced on the mistake. And it's just setting down a marker, isn't it? First frame, you're wondering how your opponent's playing, how he's feeling. Is it going to be an off day for Robertson? Well, no, is the answer so far. Yeah,
the benefits are twofold. Obviously, for yourself to win the first frame, ideally with a century, is fantastic. But as you said, just for your opponent. And again, following on from his performance the other day, he felt he would have to improve. Kind of early signs. I think he's going to have to play very well. He's going to have to go out and win it, play good, positive. Again, got the first chance, didn't capitalise on it. But Neil's took these very, very well.
Yeah, and he's determined to make this century. He's not going to settle for an 80, and that red going in, you kind of fancy it's going to happen now.
Yeah, obsessed with centuries. Obviously, 4 players over 900 centuries, which is remarkable over a career. But I think even Neil was the first player to do it. Over 100 centuries in a season is phenomenal. Of course, Judd did it a few years later, but hard to get your head around.
Well, it's the focus needed. I mean, obviously making the breaks is hard enough, but to keep that concentration, that focus for a whole season, match after match, I mean, just so impressive.
Of course, and as it gets closer, becoming a bigger deal, becoming more conscious of it.
97.
Well, this is really the perfect start, isn't it? His first chance to score after Ding's missed pot. And Neil Robertson makes a century in frame 1, 901 and counting for his career. Misses the pink, but what a great start that is for Neil Robertson. As I say, laying down a marker to Ding Junhui. That's the sort of standard he's going to have to rival today to be successful. Robertson off to a flyer, leading 1-0. So Neil Robertson, in no time at all with that century break, has taken a 1-0 lead here. 102 the break. Winner placed Fan Zhengyi. There were 9 Chinese players in the tournament at the start of the week. There's only actually 2 left, Fan and Ding. So local representation has thinned out a little. So often, of course, that over the years they look to Ding. Of course, if he can win, then they're guaranteed a semi-finalist, because he would play Fan in the next round.
It's been a feature so far this tournament that generally when players breaking off that they're not leaving. Usually there's two reds out on the sides that can generally left. I don't know whether they're more conscientious of the break or just the way the tables are playing, the spread of the cloth. It seems some tournaments, no matter who breaks off, they leave a red. played in such a way that the only red he could leave was the one he went for. It seems to happen most of the time that when you do that, you do still tend to leave that red. Again, brought the white ball back to the black, left plenty of distance. He's just checking that. Looks like he's going to go into the pack, try and screw back, leave the white ball back on the black cushion. Just trying to read how the pack will split so the red won't go over either of the middle pockets. So a little bit careful here, and again trying to ensure he gets the white as close as he can. The fact that the white ball's come away from the cushion there means Dean can address bottom of the white, play a shot and bring it back. Obviously, if he's tight on the cushion, he can only play top spin and we've only been able to roll into the pack. So I feel Ding slightly has the advantage here. I was tempted by a quite difficult pot. And again, by playing position for the black, if he potted, of course, it was ideal, but except the white ball, good bit away from the cushion. You know, might be tempted playing one and died in the middle, in the far corner. Yeah, played that beautifully there.
Well, a little bit of cat and mouse early on in this frame with reds down the table. It's one of these frames where you fancy a big break later. It's just who gets in, who blinks first in this little standoff.
Yeah, generally the balls will be very open when this exchange is finished. It's really just a test of concentration then. There's times when the balls are open so much, and you nearly mentally give yourself the frame, kind of forget you actually physically have to go ahead and do it. Sometimes it can be tricky because obviously unusual that all the reds can be down the baulk end of the table, but usually if they're spread up open enough, it's not too bad. Both players just looking for an open. Slowly but surely running out of reds down the black end. Again, didn't get the white anywhere close to the cushion. Looks like Neil just has enough of an angle on the red to roll through and obviously avoid the in-off. I think he's having a look to see does the blue, maybe the brown go as well. put all his focus on just potting this. Not the hardest pot in the world, but still a bit of pressure on it. You felt the whole frame was nearly going to be decided by whether you pot that or not. There's a super chance now, as early as it is in the frame. Particularly, of course, it started over the century in the first frame. Just have so many options here. Really just to test your concentration.
6.
I guess the red by the blue spot, if he could pot that, he would get the blue back on its spot and then things open up. But as you say, just working out a plan. We saw in the first frame how focused he was making that break. Just having a look at that red now.
Just looking exactly where he wants to leave the white when he plays the blue.
11.
I feel once he just pots the blue and doesn't leave himself hampered or blocked on any of the reds. Again, of course, blue gone back on its spot. He's got plenty of reds above and below the blue. As good a chance as you could possibly hope for.
16.
Yeah, twice in matches he's made 4 centuries in a row. You know, I mean, it's proper heavy scoring when it all clicks. Be remiss of me, Fergal, not to mention that time you made 5, didn't you, in a best of 11?
Thank you very much for that.
It's just obviously some days, I'm not saying it feels easy, but things just happen, don't they? Things just click.
Yeah, if you had to put that down to one thing, just that concentration, that literally one shot at a time. I wish I could repeat a lot more often, or even once would be nice. But certainly, he's such a heavy scorer, and that's why, having played Neil a few times, I'm hoping that he'd refuse shots, wouldn't be playing positive, aggressive snooker. And that's why I think generally over the years, when he went slightly into his shell, slightly trying to be a little bit too careful, he's not the dangerous player that he should be, and we've seen numerous times. He looks very focused today.
29.
Already has the feel this formality that he's going to win the frame from here.
Yeah, the Crucible last few years, he's sort of ended up being pulled into matches that have not suited him and has not played the game that has kind of got him to that stage and has come unstuck. Jack Jones played very well this year to beat him. People like Mark Selby, John Higgins, Corin Wilson in recent years there. You know, all top players all beating him, but playing a different sort of game to the one he enjoys, obviously.
Yeah, he felt he was playing their game the way they wanted, where he's at his very best, being positive, aggressive. All of a sudden, out of nowhere.
Lyu Robertson, 34.
Well, that miss is, as Fergal says, out of nowhere, and big chance for Ding. He must have thought in his seat he would not be coming back to the table, just how well Neil Robertson had started, where the reds were, but Already a big moment, this. It's only frame 2, but it's a chance he wasn't expecting to get. Can he take it? He's not exactly a slouch when it comes to breaks either. He's had 6 maximums, Ding, over 600 centuries in his career.
Just shows the importance of when you're in your chair
6.
that you have to expect your opponent to miss, even if it's unlikely because of the caliber of his game, or also how good an opportunity it is. So if you do get your chance, you're fully prepared. Obviously playing the brown, playing for an area, quite a big area, still managed to go past that. Visible red here. Again, played it nicely. Beautiful shot there from Ding. Travel all the way, put it in such a confined area. Of course, this is at his very best. In amongst the balls, his cue ball control is exceptional.
He's a sort of player's player, isn't he? You know, other players like the way he plays. Maybe not always if they're playing him and he's beaten them, but just the way he goes about things, it's a sort of proper way of making breaks.
Yeah, the cue ball travels the shortest distance, always it appears. I said the other day when we were playing, not even so much all the top players, heavy scores in around the black, but I think particularly in around the pink he excels. It always seems that in playing stuns around the pinks, the white ball only travels a couple of inches, never seems to have to come off the cushion. That's the art form, making all these breaks and make them look easy. Okay, that was actually a very good example there of Ding with his cueing. Cue's so parallel.
32.
Well, it's a big visit this, but he is going to need yellow and green, so they could be stumbling blocks coming up.
33.
Perfect example there.
39.
Just trying to pick up 2 cushions.
Yes, and I miscounted because I didn't see the red down the table. So actually, I thought there were 3 reds on before. There's 3 on now, so 5 in front. That changes things in terms of yellow and green.
40.
Yeah, probably won't need the green, just the yellow be enough. Again, the yellow close enough to the pocket and a little bit way off the
46.
way up from the cushion. So if you got in behind it, you just drop it in.
$47.
I do like a little bit of an angle here to get up. Trying to stun up, just get past the blue, get as close as you possibly can to that red.
Yeah, so he's doing the maths.
53.
20 the lead with the red, so brown is 24, so the yellow, he wouldn't need that green. Makes a big difference.
Struck it very well with authority. What looks more or less straight, just screw back and just get as close as you can to the cushion. You'll probably be a little bit further away than you'd like. But he just has to drop the yellow in, pocket weight. A little bit shorter pace, having to use the rest.
58.
Makes it fractionally more difficult. Again, it's helped by the fact he just needs the yellow.
And what a chance Neil Robertson had where the balls were, you know, the way he started with that 102. He fancied him strongly. I'm sure he fancied winning the frame there. But if this yellow goes in, he needs a snooker. Well, good break from Ding's, exactly what he needed. Frame's not quite done yet, but
60.
he's got to the position where Robertson needs a snooker. You always hope, I think, when the real big guns clash, it's going to be a good match, a close match. It can be one-sided if one of them runs away with it, but signs are here this is going to be closely fought today.
Yeah, and if Ding wasn't focused before the start of the match, that century had certainly waken him up.
Ding Junhui. 60.
I think there's just enough of an angle here, and potting the green, no fear of going in off. Very well, use the cushion first.
Look at that bank of fans as well. For a couple of decades he's been the flag bearer for China. Of course, many players have come through in that time, and quite a few have been successful, but Ding is still, there's still something special about him.
There's obviously some great players from China, but none of them have been able to take over his mantle. Not yet, anyway.
No, and they'll be hoping there's plenty more left in the tank yet. This was an important frame to win, I think. Robertson
18.
was looking to take charge. He was nicely in with a chance for 2-0. Missed a red unexpectedly. Ding made 60, and he's done enough to take the frame, and you can hear the crowd are very appreciative of that. So battle joined in Shanghai. Neil Robertson and Ding Junhui all square at 1 each. 1-1 between Neil Robertson and Ding Junhui here at the Grand Stage, Shanghai Masters Day 3. The last 16 completed in this session, and then tomorrow we start the quarterfinals in the morning. Worth setting the alarm for Ronnie O'Sullivan against John Higgins and Mark Selby against Judd Trump. They're the 2 morning matches, so it doesn't really get any better than that. And then the remaining matches played later in the day. And the semi-finals actually on Friday and Saturday on one table, best of 19, final Sunday, best of 21.
Yeah, but if there's a morning, you're going to get up for those 2 matches. Fantastic.
Well, really, we've seen, I've got to say, just 2 mistakes so far, 2 misses. One from Ding in the first frame, that let Robertson in for his century, and then Robertson was in frame 2. He missed, and Ding made 60, and that turned out to be enough to win the frame. So it's been pretty high standard.
Yeah, an excellent safety shot there from Neil. Not only did he find the gap between the yellow and brown, but the pace is absolutely perfect. Ding's either left with a difficult safety or difficult pot. Probably wise. Could have played the pot and been on the black, but of course if he missed it, every chance he'd leave Neil. Ding, though, winning that frame, apart from relief that he didn't go 2-0 down, the manner in which he won it will give him a lot of confidence. The top players watching, you hope it goes close. You hope they're at their best and they go head to head.
Well, it's great to be back in China, and of course there's 4 big events in China this season. It's been a gap of 4 years. So much of the success built off the back of Ding's own victory in the China Open back in 2005 in Beijing. He was just 18 years of age, beat Stephen Hendry in the final. Sparked the boom that sparked all the investment in the infrastructure, all the academies that have produced all the Chinese players who've come through. So for all that he's won in the game, and he's won plenty, that's been significant. The other significance in his legacy in many ways is what he's created here in China. And that has benefited a lot of other players, of course, not just Chinese, but on the tour in general.
Absolutely. It's great to be back in China. I said 4 tournaments this year after a 4-year gap. I suppose what Ding has done in China, I suppose there's a hope that Luca Purcell winning will do for not just for Belgium, but mainland Europe as well.
Well, it's some good safety being played here. It was a great shot from Ding, and what a terrific return from Robertson. And safety's got to be good, hasn't it? Because we've already seen the heavy scorers, so neither wants to let any sort of chance come along. He sits down looking thoroughly fed up. You can understand it because he caught it all types of thick there, and the first mistake has been forced.
Yeah, when the red is that close to the cushion, always the danger you're going to catch it a little bit too thick.
1.
Play that well. Just about has the angle on the blue. He's looking at the 2 reds below the pink. Are they a plant? That would also free that area around the pink.
One other thing that links these two, they were both World Under-21 champion. That's a big international amateur event for the best juniors. So the signs were there from early on that they were certainly prospects. It doesn't always translate that you have a great career,
7.
but we've known about them for a long time, long before they were sort of top professionals.
Makes such a difference in the game, particularly break building. If you can always have that perfect angle on the blue. As good as Neil is, it's no problem for him to pot it and go in and out of balk. You knew he was going to pot it. You didn't feel he was going to hit one of the balk colours. But just that little bit further away from the red. Probably still will pot a red, but again, to pot the red and get perfect on this next one is not a given, which it should have been. And again, considering the red he played before that unmissable plant, little lapse in concentration there. Should have made sure he had the angle on the blue. Just looking if he pots this red. What path will the white ball take?
Foul.
Didn't seem possible there that
Robertson 12, Ding
he could
Junhui
pot that and
4.
avoid. Yeah, definitely didn't look like there was a gap there, unless maybe he thought he could play a bit of a cannon on a couple of reds to try and free up the black. Again, breaking down, there was just a byproduct, not being in perfect position on the blue.
He's feathered the white, has he?
Foul.
It was unexpected. Owned up immediately.
Fair play to him. Of course, with him going in off for a second there, I thought he had to look at it and said, I don't fancy you of a go. Maybe he deliberately failed.
Well, immediately he owned up. Dangerous though, he knows what a great long potter Robertson is. Just lost the cue ball slightly.
Neil could have been forgiven there for picking the white ball up himself.
Neil Robertson 1. Foul and a miss. Ding Junhui 4.
Badly judged that shot there, Neil. There's no way Ding should have a look at this pot. He had a massive margin of error there. The black free into the right-hand corner pairs.
8.
Already Ding looks a little bit sharper than he did. Obviously feeling the benefit of not just having a match but also having a win. A little bit more fluent, a little bit smoother today.
14.
More positive. Again, probably knows he has to be against Neil.
15.
Yes, it's a different dynamic, isn't it? I mean, he was playing a sort of a young pretender, I guess, in Sichuan, but with Robertson, he's one of his contemporaries, someone he's played already in 3 major finals.
Yeah, against Sichuan, he could use experience, but today, playing Neil is not a game you can bluff. You're going to have to bring your full package to the table from start to finish.
Yeah, it'd be interesting, I think, to see what the next couple of years hold for Ding, because he fell out the top 16. He's back in now, but 15, you know, can he get back in the top 8? Can he get back right up at the top where I'm sure a lot of people feel he still belongs? Doesn't seem to be sort of that consistent these days. He comes good now and again. When he does come good, he can win tournaments, but of course there was one season where he won 5 ranking events, sort of a decade ago, when he was just unstoppable, it seemed. Can he get back anywhere near that again?
Yeah, you just question Ding's appetite. Can he get back? Does he really want to get back? Because you said for certain tournaments, I feel like, particularly the UK Championships, he nearly pinpoints certain events and you know he's put the work in. And then at his very best, of course, he can win any tournament. But over the
29.
course of the season, to put in the hard work from start to finish, as opposed to some of the other top players. He's definitely a top 16 player, but you don't really think of him as one of the favourites for winning the major events.
Ding Junhui,
Yeah, it was
29.
just getting a little more complicated, wasn't it, that break? He has now broken down. Robertson's in an interesting position as well. He's 6th in the world, but for him that seems a little low because we've been so used to him being in the top 4. So again, I'm sure he feels that's where he belongs, back in the top 4. No ranking points this week, but whoever wins this tournament clearly is going to go into the next few events with a massive boost of confidence.
Yeah, it seems this tournament's just getting more and more prestigious. More and more has the feel of the Masters. Again, the quality of field, again, best of 11s. And then in addition, obviously an extra 8 players to make it 24. It's a great tournament, but I think it's actually a benefit that it's so early on in the season. If the players were a little bit rusty, hadn't been playing too much during the summer, for this event they're going to put the work in.
I think as well, you know, we've seen the fans, which are brilliant here. We saw the red carpet parade before the tournament, the opening ceremony. The players are made to feel special, which doesn't happen at every event. I mean, even at the Masters, there's no ceremony before and you just turn up, you play. Obviously, Neil's last match was at the Morningside in Leicester, a qualifier, no fans watching. So you're reminded of actually a little bit of your status in the game in an event like this. And he's looking already, I'm sure, at the players in the top half, O'Sullivan, Higgins, Selby, Trump, thinking that's the company I should be in and I will be in, of course, if I can win this match.
15.
Yeah, absolutely. Shanghai Masters always very popular with the players. Even more so this year, of course, we're having that gap.
Well, it's a bit unlucky, really. He tried to develop reds and cue ball. He just sort of got a double kiss on the red and cue ball has not finished favourably. So looks like the snooker.
Neil Robertson, 16.
And Neil, like all the top players, likes being the centre of attention, likes to be talked about, even if it was bad. So again, that a couple of years ago, it felt like if he wasn't the man, he was very close there, but that's slightly been taken away. Mark Allen, of course, was probably player of the season. Even then, Luca Brazil now is the world champion. And then compounded by the fact himself, off his own standards, he had a poor season.
Foul and a miss.
Well, surely
Neil
we're going
Robertson,
back.
4.
Yeah, and as the referee puts it back, yeah, he's very good, Robertson, I think, at sort of turning lemons into lemonade, looking at the positives. In 2022, he won the Players and the Tour Championship, playing superbly, but of course you have to re-qualify for those on the one-year list. He didn't get in either. And he said, well, it's not so bad. I got more time to practice for the World Championship. So he tried to turn it into a positive. But surely he was pig sick not to be in those tournaments, because they are big events with big first prizes. But he tried to look at the positives, at least outwardly.
Absolutely, of course, he wanted to qualify for those. Every player does. But again, once you change a plan, depending on your circumstances. But of course, even with that break and being fresh for the World Championships, he didn't do well. He did as good or as bad as he did the previous years. At least if you have the bad World Championship, the consolation of winning those two big events as well makes the summer a lot easier.
Well, another attempt for Ding. Obviously, he doesn't want to leave the red on. But at some point, he's got to hit one.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he's playing for this open red. It's difficult to hit, and even if he does hit it, you feel there's a good chance he's going to leave it on. I think he really should be playing off the other side cushion, come across the face of the blue, and ideally land on either of those two reds near the cushion. It's a much bigger target to hit either the two reds, and also even if he does hit either one of them, he wouldn't be leaving a red on. Eventually hit it this time. Could have left it a little bit easier for Neil. Looks a bit fine. Yeah, a bit fortunate. A lot thinner than he intended. The black and green being so close together, it's such a big target. Sometimes you feel when you're playing, it's like a magnet. No matter where the other reds are, you're able to manipulate the white ball around to that area. Play that very well.
He's having a good look to see if there's a gap between them. All having a look. Well, there's the Hawkeye technology. It looks like not quite.
Yeah, I don't think so. Of course, this time, ideally, you'd like to land on those two reds close to the cushion, but with the other red available, it would have to be a lot more precise. I played the loose red again.
Foul and a miss. Lyu Robertson, 4.
Yeah, similar to his previous attempt, that was the red he was playing for. Hopefully trying to come up the back of it and just gently nudge it away. Has to be very precise.
The referee is Lyu Zhiwei. Well, you heard the gasp from the audience, and of course that's why, because he has left the pot on this time.
Yeah, that was, of course, the danger playing it that way. And only 12 ahead before he starts.
1.
So even with a couple of pinks, he will need those two reds. Might take an opportunity here in playing the pink to disturb them. Looks like he's a perfect angle. A nice shot, got one of them out.
7.
The red into the right-hand middle, obviously not easy, but can play a pocket weight. And if he does put it again, he's going to be perfect on the pink. Well, Very surprised at that.
Lyu Robertson second.
Again, was 19 ahead. As I said, could just roll it in, guaranteed to be on the pink. And even if he did miss, might get away with it. And then, of course, your opponent would have the problem of the last red on the cushion. Talking about earlier about Neil when he's playing his best, the positive attacking, quite a negative shot. Again, as his opponent, you'd like to see him refusing pots and trying to get him involved in a safety game. But sometimes over the last year or two, particularly the World Championships, apart from his opponent, it seemed like his mindset was a little bit different. He was more than happy to play safety game, more cautious game, but if he ended up just getting bogged down.
Yeah, and he said several times that he's not going to play that game again, but sometimes, it's just how you feel at the time, isn't it? How you see the shots at the time.
Yeah, he just felt the percentages were in his favour at that time. And similar to before, just look at if you can, just come off the cushion. Just miss the brown, the middle pocket, and land on the cushion. The green blocking the two reds and the pink blocking the single red.
Foul and a miss. Lyu Robertson 4. Back.
Fell forward, but no harm done. Would have been worse if he just clipped that red and took it away. Probably would have left Neil the pot.
He's going to check with the marker here, I think, to make sure that the cue ball is where it should be.
Settled for that. Hit a little bit harder than he wanted. Again, getting the double kiss. No damage done. Surprised Neil's playing this red, taking it off the cushion unless he's trying to put it safe onto another cushion. Slight trade-off there. Didn't get the red safe, but has left the white tight on the cushion. I just feel if Ding was to get a chance, the clearance is that little bit easier because the red and balk is in an easier position than it was before. Okay, which Neil didn't need. 23 ahead. 2 reds, 2 pinks would have been enough. Good containing safety there from Ding. Didn't try to do too much. Just try to ensure that Neil would be able to pot on his next shot. Just looking to get the white tight on the cushion. Ding, have a look to see does the red pass the yellow and go into its yellow pocket. I wonder, can he clip it into the middle pocket? And also, could he maybe get cover behind the black and green? Or is it too fine clipping that and trying to put it into the middle, the white will come past it? Kind of hedged his bets a little bit, half went for it. Yeah, both players just having a check to see that red. The screen looks very close and unmissable to the middle pocket, but just it's tight enough little angle. You probably want to be right behind it to be able to pot it.
Very cagey moment in the match this. Robertson obviously in front in the frame, but only by 23. Just joining us, he started off with a century. He was in frame 2. Mr. Red, Ding made 60 to make it 1 each. Oh, lovely kiss on the green. Can still see the red on the left-hand side. Cut off the other 2 though.
.23 behind, obviously Ding be a lot happier to see that red ball out in the open.
Sort of feels like it's 4 each rather than 1 each, doesn't it? It's tense, but that's I think that's this tournament, isn't it? You know, it's going to be so hard to win when you look at the players in it, and that stands for this match as well.
Yeah, it's going to come down to small margins. Those 1 or 2 scrappy frames that are going to make the difference between winning and losing. Again, of course, just the respect that both players have for each other as well. I think its previous shot wasn't by design, but just hit the brown, put it close to the ball cushion. So again, it needed brown to blue would be a lot more difficult. Didn't get a chance to clear. Is that Neil's shot to nothing here? Yeah, I think there's one player in the game who'd fancy to stroke this in smoothly. It'd be Neil Robertson.
Yeah, it's just become very tense.
Yeah, left a similar shot, I think, to Ding, that he can play the same shot. Don't think the red close to the left-hand side is in play. Maybe it is. I think it seems to be getting lower. Maybe swing this around the angles. That's what he tried to do, but actually hit that very badly. Cued it very poorly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a result, really, where the whites finished, because, as you say, he didn't hit it well. And you can see he wasn't too impressed by it. Well, not so much a result, it's a terrific pot from Robertson.
When you miss a shot like that, like Ding did, not just that you miss it, but you miss it so badly, you don't strike the ball where intended, it's quite debilitating. You can see that's why straight away, as soon as he missed, he went back to the chair. It probably looks like a bit of an overreaction because it's still only 1-1, but it's not a good feeling. Just undermines your confidence.
Robertson just checking the scores, 27 points in front, so he's going to need both reds here.
They just put the red. I don't think it matters too much whether it's green or pink. Probably the green. Then on that, just wants to get as close as he can to the red.
5.
Probably make his judgment of which shot to play depending on the angle now. Probably hope to have an angle on the green to get. But if he's straight, he might then play for the slightly more difficult pot on the pink.
Green.
Well,
8.
it got tense, it got cagey, some good safety played. In the end, it was Ding who made the big mistake. Neil Robertson needs this red for a 2-1 lead. So a different sort of frame than the first one he won, but in some ways possibly more significant, because Ding was very disappointed with his last shot.
Fourteen. Sixteen.
Along his frame so far, it's gone to Neil Robertson,
Frame conceded.
who's back in front. Fascinating duel that was, real battle. That last shot from Ding, though, did open the door, and Neil Robertson, of course, already in front in the frame, did enough to win it. So 2-1 to the Australian. We have one more frame to come before the mid-session interval. So 2-1 to Neil Robertson. Still a long way to go. Of course, it's best of 11, first to 6. The winner plays Fang Zhengyi in the quarterfinals of the Shanghai Masters. Just on the other match, by the way, Robert Milkins 2-1 up against Sean Murphy. It was 2-0. Murphy's won frame 3. Of course, they played a match last season, the Welsh Open final. There was a lot on it, not just the title, but of course, Milkins, if he won the match, was going to get the 150,000 bonus, the Bet Victor prize, and he did win. And can't leave Robertson any sort of pot, really.
Yeah, beautiful shot. Just playing it dead weight, trying to leave it low on this red. Perfect position. Just pot this red, screw back gently. I don't think it'd come off the cushion. He got a little bit more reaction than he wanted. Gone a little bit closer to the side cushion. And as a result of that, just that little bit straighter. But again, he has got the balls open. Struck that very well. Didn't have much angle and got the absolute maximum out of that shot.
Yeah, and you can just tell he's won a key frame, can't you? Just the way he looks at the start of this one. He's got that determination now to push on and sort of turn the screw. That red only just dropped, having said that, but just make Ding think even more about what happened in that last frame.
Yeah, and of course, because he cut it a bit thick and just about went in, didn't get the same travel on the white, and that's why he's straight on the blue here. The importance of having that angle on the blue. If he had the angle on the blue, be able to get very close to the next red. The next red would be more or less unmissable with an easy positional shot as well. But now, no matter what red he plays here, he's going to be disturbing other reds. Makes the pot a little bit more difficult, but also no guarantee getting the safety. Whereas if he had that angle on the blue, he'd already be a couple of shots ahead. Still expect him to pot it, but
22.
That wasn't the error. The error was being straight on the blue.
He acknowledges, though, he's got lucky, really, where it's all finished. I mean, he could easily have left ding bang in here. I remember there was a famous occasion in China, one of the tournaments where Lyu Robertson, he got a bit frustrated. The internet wasn't working. He couldn't sort of do the things he was looking to do between matches, and he played his good friend Joe Perry, and just out of nowhere, and he tried to talk himself down, but out of nowhere he just smashed the reds off the break, just frustrated, and didn't leave a red on. Did not leave a red on, and it was kind of very sheepish, particularly against Joe, of course, his good friend.
So Joe took it well.
These things can happen sometimes when you're travelling, because it's something the players have got to get used to again, and they'll be looking forward to doing that, obviously, having been missing these big tournaments in China the last 4 years.
Yeah, that was the remarkable thing about it for Neil. He was so out of character. Usually very disciplined and controlled. I'm sure Joe was reminded of him. Reminded it once or twice.
Of course, there was another time they played in a final in China, in Wuxi, and at that point Joe hadn't won a ranking event, and Neil sort of blocked out the personal dynamic until the very end when he won 10-9, and he was in floods of tears because he didn't. It wasn't Joe who was crying, the runner-up. It was Neil, the winner, because he denied his great friend who'd given him so much help a title.
I suppose a similar scenario, roles reversed. The World Championship qualifier, of course, Joe Perry beating his good pal Mark Davis to, as we thought then, knock him off the tour. Mark got revenge on him there last week at the qualifiers.
Well, it was a strange one, that wasn't it? Because a few days later it was announced that they were going to extend it to, I think, 68, and Mark actually kept his place, so obviously he was delighted with that, but it meant sort of strange feelings, I guess, for Joe again.
Obviously Joe's experience against Neil that time toughened him up.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously, it's a sport, they're rivals, but friendships develop, and there's certain dynamics if you've been given help by a player. You know, we saw yesterday Trump and Lazowski, they would normally spend time together at a tournament. They sort of kept their distance before they played the match.
Yeah, it's not a nice feeling, uncomfortable feeling.
Ooh. Wasn't sure whether that was going to drop. I'm not sure he was.
I played at such a pace. I thought there might be a possibility against some cover behind the black. Yeah. Three of them having a look at it. If you can't edge direct, you might be tempted to play the cushion first. Just a little bit short of pace. He could only hit one side of the red. Did well to pot it and get the white ball out as far as he did, but still just a fraction short.
Junhui won.
Again, then playing it slow made it very difficult.
It definitely feels like Robertson's on top. He had a great chance to win the second frame. Did win the third, and now with an opening here in the fourth.
Yeah, you just get the sense if one player is going to run away with it, win 6-1, 6-2, it's more likely to be Neil. It's slightly blocking each other, just has to be a little bit careful. Again here, as I said earlier, crucial here in potting this red. He gets that nice angle on the blue.
9.
That's some assurance course with the pink this time. Still looks a little bit straight on the pink, and again, also close to the side cushion. Just when you're close to the side cushion, you can only play opposite the top of the white, just restricts you in the position of shots you can play. Struck that very well. Certainly seems to hitting the ball with greater authority than Ding is.
15.
Again, now he's created a good chance for himself. Still obviously has to be a little bit careful. I suppose if he'd won the second frame in the manner we thought he was going to, you'd fully expect him to win this one as well. But again, just has to be a little bit careful, not take anything for granted.
Yeah, just try and keep tight control of the cue ball. He's very good at recovery pots, but of course, if you're making recovery pots, it's because you've run out of ideal positions. So obviously, just try and keep things as simple as possible.
Yeah, it's nearly a negative when somebody says good shot to you when you're in amongst the balls. You feel you shouldn't have to play any good shots. You should be so close and the right angle the next one.
23.
From the previous shot, had to be a little bit precise. Was precise. That seems to have really just opened it up now. Again, just even somebody who's fluent as Neil, just certain shots with just an extra second or two, just to be a little bit careful. It's worth the time nearly take those extra couple of seconds.
30.
Because then just makes it so much easier then to continue on the break. Any time you might have lost by checking is more than made up for by making fluent positive contribution then. The path of the blue here just looks like it could go into those two reds. As he's checking, if he rolls through, might hit the red on the right hand side. If he stuns down, plays the most normal shot, he is going into those two reds. And he couldn't guarantee that he'd get a good cannon. A little bit careful here. Might even be tempted to try and pot the blue and screw down to the pink, or ideally even the red below the pink, and gentle cannon on that. It then would have the two reds on the right hand side. Just put the other side of those two reds close to the cushion.
Well, he's keeping it going. It's not been straightforward, this break at all, has it? But he's still a couple of balls away from wrapping up the frame.
Of course, such a good potter, it's such a good asset that if you are slightly out of position, it doesn't look like it's too much trouble for you to get back into ideal position.
So the blue to lead by 62, 67 on. One more red needed as well. And it's good value, I think, for a 3-1 lead. Started, of course, with the century. Did have the chance for 2-0. Ding made a good 60. The third frame became quite tactical in the end. Robertson forced the mistake there. And he's looked on top in this frame as well. And in goes the red that leaves Ding leading Snookers.
42.
Yeah, definitely the stronger, more dominant player. And again, you could argue the second frame, he more or less, I wouldn't say gave to Ding, but obviously he had such a good opportunity. Okay, now going to be a serious test for Ding, where his game is at, mentally where he's at. Neil hasn't been at his absolute very best, but still looks very, very patient, very focused. And again, you feel if Ding is going to come back and win, he's going to have to play very close to his best.
Well, I suspect he'll have seen enough in this frame. 69 behind with 51 on.
Lyu Robertson, 48.
Indeed, he concedes. So the players head to the interval with Lyu Robertson holding a 2-frame advantage. Looking pretty good here in the early stages. The century, I guess the highlights so far. But in all areas, looking strong. And he needs 3 more frames when the players resume in 15 minutes to reach the quarterfinals of the Shanghai Masters and a meeting with another Chinese player, Fan Zhengyi. So Robertson on top, still a long way to go, possible 7 frames remaining in this match. But he obviously the happier of the two as the players head to the interval, because he's leading here in Shanghai by 3 frames to 1. Fans here delighted to have snooker back, of course, in Shanghai for the first time in 4 years. I'm sure many of them hoping for Ding Junhui's success, but happy to see all the top players. Here is Ding. He's 3-1 down to Lyu Robertson as the match resumes.
Ding Junhui to break.
So Ding trailing 3-1, best of 11, so there's still plenty of time, but these next couple of frames key for him, trying to stay in touch. Robertson, we know, a very confident character, has played well overall, and will be looking to push on now and put himself into the quarterfinals, where he would play another Chinese player, Fan Zhengyi, who knocked out Mark Allen earlier today. Yeah, just call that a little thick, so to put that down as an error.
You feel Ding's going to have to up his standard of play when he gets a chance to score a lot heavier. You just don't really think that Neil's going to come back to him and start playing worse. So whatever chances Ding gets, and they'll be hard to get, he's going to have to make the very most of them. Just unsure about if he plays the red into the middle, where exactly the white ball will go. Might go into the pack, might want the white ball to go into the pack. I think he nearly talked himself out of it there. It was definitely an easier pot to play it into the middle. One that should really just make sure of the pot. If you think you're going into the pack, play it with pace, you might be able to get away from it.
You can answer this, Fergal, obviously, with all your experience. What do players do in the interval? I know everyone's different, but if you're 3-1 down, for example, would you be tempted to have a little knock on the table, or is it a case of just trying to keep yourself sort of focused and relaxed?
I never practiced ever during the interval. I always just went back to the dressing room, maybe a little bit to eat. Yeah, I never really felt the benefit of practicing, good or bad. Regardless of how the match had been going, those 15 minutes I felt just better, just literally try and rest, relax and regroup. Maybe have a think about the match. What could you be doing differently? Yeah, there's plenty of other players do it differently, but they might spend the full 15 minutes practicing, particularly if they're struggling a little bit with their game. I just feel in those 10-15 minutes, if you're going to find anything, it's more a change in adjustment or attitude is going to be more beneficial than trying to find something on the table. That's where if you're behind, particularly, it can be very good if you have a friend or a coach, somebody with you, just to talk things through. Just get
14.
Clear up some issues you might have in your mind, get greater clarity and a better attitude, more positive for when you come out after the interval.
Meanwhile, another recovery shot needed here and not found. So again, he just slightly lost position, ideal position.
Lyu Robertson, 14.
Yeah, the intervals I find fascinating, actually, because they were brought in initially when snooker started being played in theatres, for the theatres to sell drinks to the public. It was nothing to do with the players, but of course they've become a part of the matches. And even like last week at the qualifiers, there was no audience, but there were intervals after 4 frames. It's just become part of it, and we know they can turn matches.
Yeah, you said there'd actually be complaints from players if there isn't an interval. Sometimes there has been terms that even if they were best of 9, they've played through without an interval. But I think probably because we got so used to it, players feel like you prefer an interval. Gives you that option that if you are behind, you can regroup. Otherwise, when you're behind, it just feels frames just run into each other.
And that's why, of course, the World Championship is so different, because you have huge gaps within matches. You can have a sort of night before you play the next session. Matches can last 3 days. That's why it's the ultimate test. Ding will be hoping that something has changed in the interval. Robertson, as I say, just lost his way there positionally, took on the long red, didn't get it.
7.
Question is, can Ding now start to find his best game to make this match closer?
8.
Nicely on this red here, just to roll through. Ideally wants to be parallel with the black.
15.
So if he's parallel with the black, then a natural angle to either play one of the or 2 of the open reds, or ideally screw into them.
16.
Yeah, perfect there along that line. Obviously there's a slight tolerance level, but anywhere within that, close to that line, gives you a natural angle. From there you can play on more or less any red that's above the black spot. Makes life so much easier. Even for the top players, common mistakes just landing straight, or even worse, just off straight on the black. And a lot of the time it's easily avoidable. It's probably as easy to be perfect on the black as it is to be straight. A lot of times just like attention to detail and application, just taking that extra second just to have it clear and be conscientious that you do get in that perfect position.
24.
It's the same for the blue as well. Again, wasn't such a priority having the red in bulk. But more often than not, it works out okay. But of course, there's those
29.
instances you run the risk. And again, if he was perfect on the blue, it really couldn't go wrong, you feel.
Yeah, exactly. So just sort of glanced the yellow there, didn't he? And lost his way. Yeah, it's a great recovery pot. Willing this white to hold up.
Yeah, fantastic pot. Probably a little bit unfortunate. It just ran on. Difficult pink bridging over and such a fine cut. And again, no guarantee at all of being any positional play.
I interviewed it in the summer, Ray Reardon, the great 6 times world champion, and he said it took him a long time to realise there's only actually one ball that matters in snooker, the cue ball. If you can control that, it unlocks everything.
Yeah, I'd say that's a point he emphasised many times with Ronnie O'Sullivan. You know, if you had to try and, there's many great attributes, of course, Ronnie, but if you had to contribute one reason why he's been the greatest ever, it is his cue ball control. And generally, to be fair, Ding also scores very highly on those marks, particularly in amongst them.
Well, he's kept this going. He's potted a good pink. He's got this little cut back red now. He's trying to find an ideal position again to continue.
$37.
Got so used to Ding over the years having an immaculate cue ball that if it drifts slightly, it seems probably a bigger deal than it is. His standards of cue ball control are higher than others. In the context of the match, I just feel it's an important visit for him here. Let's just get a frame of the board to do it with a break.
43.
Not sure if the red at the bottom of the pack, I think it just about goes. Yeah, after he played the blue, judging by his body language, I thought that red didn't go. Actually, wasn't too much of a problem. Again, played that very well. Not just the pot, but again, such good cue ball control and so close.
55.
Again, 41 ahead. These two open reds, these two colours, wouldn't even need to go into those three reds.
$56.
Perfectly played.
Yeah, and it's not going to be perfect all the time, so you do have to dig in, and that's what Ding hasn't necessarily always done, but he's done it in this break. Pulled off a couple of nice recovery shots and has kept it going. Just checking the scores, 47
61.
to the good, so another red with a big colour, looking like 3-2. Robertson had the first chance in the frame, lost his way, took on a long red, missed it.
Goes well for Ding. Having to play recovery shots is probably a bigger deal for him, and probably a bit more unusual, and seems like it takes more effort to dig in to try and get back into position. Just taking these very well.
$68.
His cue ball always hasn't been perfect, but he has drifted. He's played a very good shot to get right back in.
69. $76.
The thing is, you don't get extra marks for being in prime position every shot. You just get the points that you make if the balls go in, and that's what's happened here. So he'll feel better for this. He needed to do something after the interval, clearly. He's made his highest break of the match, and I'm sure his many fans in Shanghai are hoping that it's the start of a full-scale
83.
recovery. Just sending a message to Robertson as well that, you know, his mistakes will be punished today.
84.
Definitely sharper after this first round win. Looks a lot more at ease with himself and this game. For that
90.
one shot he hit poorly on the end of the third frame. Other than that, he's cued nice and smoothly.
92.
Well, in the end, it's been a terrific contribution, this, from Ding. About to make, it would seem, his first century of the season. One of only 8 players to have made at least 600 in professional competition, so he's in an elite band there. And this is a timely one for China's number one. Beautifully done.
104.
And well appreciated, as you can see, by the fans here. The only ones not clapping were filming it on their phones for posterity.
110.
Yes, a clearance of 117 from Ding Junhui, to the delight of his fans here. He's made the match a lot closer, just 1 in it now, with Neil Robertson's lead reduced to 3-2. Ding Junhui's just made a terrific clearance of 117, his first century of the new season. Of course, this is his first event. And it means he trails 3-2 to Neil Robertson. The back playing next door as well, Sean Murphy and Robert Milkins, 2-2 coming back after the interval.
Both players managing to control the two-end reds when they break off and not leave a chance for their opponent. It looks like the green's just slightly hampering his cue. Otherwise he would have played the red into the corner and screwed over for the black. He's looking for an alternative now. Thinking about playing a very thin edge, but of course that'll leave him very close to going and off. Has left a long straight red for Ding into the right corner. We're going to be feeling quite confident to take it on. Difficult pot and also quite risky if he missed it. That's what you can see there. He's looking the other side of the table. Can he get back down the table? Is there an alternative? Again, just looks like if he comes off the left-hand side of the pack, that he probably glance at the black, or also the red that's closest to the side cushion. You could see him looking for an alternative, but I didn't see that one. Very risky.
Yeah, and he sort of half apologised here, not leaving anything easy for Robertson, but we'll see if he finds one or not. Left the white on the cushion. It did make a difference. Wasn't easy, that.
When he seen Ding miss that risky plant, he probably fully expected to have a choice of reds, end up with a difficult enough missable red. Ding was quite fortunate there. Thin enough clip on the red here. Can't try and be too clever. Play exactly for position. I think it's very important here. Just pot the red. Hopefully avoid the pack in pink, and then have some shot. As I said, yeah, you're just making sure you pot the red, and even if you don't get nicely on the colour, again, you can always play safe and keep control of the table. You're hoping for a little bit of a flick or a nudge, and that worked out quite well. Again, first priority is make sure you pot the red. Again, of course, the black's out of commission.
6.
Still the reds are open enough. Blue's obviously available. Pink's available.
Yes, and he's just made a century, of course, so he's feeling good in general. He got away with previous visit. As I say, it'd be fascinating to see how he sort of fares the next couple of years. He's now 36, Ding, but you know that's young these days in snooker. He was world #1 briefly back in December 2014. Not for long, a couple of weeks, but he has got to the top of the rankings. He's been in a world final, of course, 2016. When Mark Selby beat him.
13.
Of course, he's won huge titles, UK Championship 3 times, he won the Masters, a lot of tournaments in China. But what's next, I guess, is the question. It's always a popular win when he does win a tournament.
15.
A lot of snooker fans, not just here in China, but right around the world, love watching him.
Yeah, I think that's the main joy you get in watching him, is that cue ball control. The white ball seems like it barely moves. Textbook technique as well, of course.
16.
Yes, I mean, when he sort of broke through, as a young age, he was widely tipped as the first Asian world champion. It's not happened yet. As I say, just one final at the Crucible so far.
And Peter Ebdon predicted he'd win as many as 10. Always seemed a bit of a generous prediction, to say the least, but I said he'd be desperate to get one.
Yes, I mean, if you took all the predictions down the years of the players who A would win it and B would win it X amount of times, you'd basically have to play it every month, wouldn't you? There's only one a year, that's the problem.
Yeah, exactly.
22.
Could even talk about the majors or the Triple Crown events. But even if, for players that have won them, Ding, and of course Jimmy White's the classic example. He has won the UK Championship, he has won the Masters, but they're forgotten. What's more prevalent or prominent is that he hasn't won the World Championship yet. It's not quite like the golf where the 4 majors are more or less of equal value. The UK Championship and the Masters are obviously a great event, but 5 UK Championships isn't the same as 1 World Championship. Could seem a bit unfair, but that seems to be the harsh reality of it.
Well, it's just the nature of the tournament, the longer matches, the history of it. You know, it's nearly 100 years now, the World Championship.
29.
Stuart Bingham was asked, because he's won the World and the Masters, what would you rather do, complete the so-called Triple Crown by winning the UK Championship or win another World Championship? And he didn't have to think about it. I want to win the World Championship again, because it is the one event that you always remember for. But right now, the Shanghai Masters is a big event in its own right, and Ding would love to continue. And these are good signs for him the last 20 minutes or so.
57.
Apart from Ding being a popular player and would like to see him win the World Championship, I think you're also curious to see
43.
snooker's massive in China, that if he went on and won the World Championships, how much bigger can it get? What impact would it have?
I think I'm right in saying his final with Selby back in 2016
44.
is the most watched in history because of the audience in China, which was in the hundreds of millions.
Certainly growing into the match. You can see as the match has gone on, his cue ball control, which is his trademark, is getting better and better all the time.
50. 51. 57.
Well, he went for that pretty risky plant earlier, and he got fortunate. He did hold his hand up, actually, when the white went on the side cushion. Robertson took the red on, didn't get it.
58.
And this has been the result. Ding will need another red after the pink for 3-3. And it's not just winning the first 2 frames after the interval, it's how he's done it, with big breaks.
Yeah, in a close match between two players playing more or less at their best. Can be decided in those little things like
64.
being having that run of the ball there. So went for a plant he should not have been even looking at and got away with it. And again, probably could have been the difference between 4-2 and 3-all.
65.
Again, it's not taking the break he's made for granted, but just the top players, tight matches, it can come down to fine margins. But to be fair to Ding, since the interval, we're talking about the interval, what you do, the player does during the interval, well, whatever he did worked. Coming back very,
71.
very positive. He just felt before the interval, at times, he's getting a little bit in on himself, a little bit hard on himself. Definitely regrouped here.
Well, there's still one awkward red, but this could well be back-to-back centuries. Even if it's not, it's been a frame-winning break of real quality.
$79.
I suppose we've been asking the questions about Ding, about his appetite and where his game is at. But of course, the very thing for his game could be a big win against a top player in a big occasion.
Well, the crowd are loving it. He's got this red into play, so the century's definitely on now. Well, it's going to take something special, clearly, to keep this going. Not to be, but 89 will do nicely. It follows the 117, and it just marks a sea change, really, in Ding's performance and fortunes since the interval. He was 3-1 down. Robertson was looking to run away with it, but in fact, we're all square at 3-3. To the interval, Ding Junhui has made it since. 3-1 down, 3-3s, made breaks of 117 and 89, and things warming up here in Shanghai.
Standard of safety play during the match has been quite high. Rarely have any of the players been hitting the buckle or on their safeties and usually getting good length. Cut that much too thick. Had his hand on the table there on the baulk line. It was a good opportunity not just to open the pack, but also then get a good white. Just got it that little bit too thick, which took the pace out of the white. There's a red close enough to the corner pocket. The black doesn't go into the other pocket. It's probably relying a little bit on luck and trying to pot it and get back up the table. Just trying to judge the angle that when he pots it naturally, will he avoid other reds? Yeah, was unable to avoid it. The most important thing was that he did pot it. Still in a bit of trouble, but he can play safety. It was just afraid of playing the red with a little bit of side to avoid other reds. Would have made the pot a lot more difficult.
Lyu Robertson, 1.
Again, just play dumb shot on the black, but was conscious not to hit the black too hard. Neither player wants the black close to a cushion. So again, probably going to be another passage of safety play here. Both players trying to look at it, gain the advantage. Ding having to look there to see where's the best place or worst place for Neil. He can leave the white because that red that's close to the left-hand side corner pocket needs to be covered, and as a result, he decided to play off that shot, take the danger out of the shot. Speculative attempt at a plant. Shot to nothing there from Neil. Again, hand on the table here. Should get the white ball past the balk line, avoid the colours. Maybe get it close to the in behind the brown and green. So to make a plant out of it as well. Of course, with the balls being open, indeed he'd like to pot and continue the break, but just tucks Neil up behind the green. It's going to be a difficult escape for Neil.
Junhui, 1.
Of course, not just getting out and hitting a red, but what he could leave for his opponent.
Yeah, I mean, it sort of reflects the way the match has turned, really. He was on top, wasn't he, at the interval, but now firmly on the back foot. Just seen Ding make 2 big breaks. There'll be another one on if he leaves a red on here.
Just wondering, as a possibility, if he came off the side cushion between yellow and brown and tried to nestle onto a red below the pink spot. Seems to be trying to find a gap and play the 2 cushion. Just yeah, Neil took a long look at that and eventually realised that he could clearly hit the red on the side cushion. We've been here before. But again, it's just far enough away from the green that he's able to get through to the black. Again, might well play it with a little bit of pace to try and disturb those reds around the pink. Looks like a natural angle. Again, just make sure you get the pot. Yes, try to be too precise. Just again, make sure you pot it. Chances are he's going to have some shot. Worked out nicely there.
Just looks good in himself as well, doesn't he? And obviously he's put together 2 good frames, but you know, he's found some good long pots. The black was a big shot that he knocked in the middle, that he got. Everything clicking now for Ding, it seems.
Also be interesting to see,
15.
said his confidence hasn't been the best the last while, that if it goes close and gets a chance to win, will he have the confidence to get over the line? Certainly not a lot wrong with his game, just probably lacking a little bit of confidence, a little bit of belief.
20.
But again, a win on the stage against Neil Robertson would give him that belief and confidence.
Yeah, I mean, he was looking good late on last season. He won that 6 Reds World Championship, which obviously is a slightly different form of snooker, but not easy to win. He was in the Tour Championship. He won a match there, so lost in the semis to Karen Wilson.
21.
So turned up at the Crucible, and I think quite a few people fancied him to get through to play Ronnie O'Sullivan, but of course the same for Fahey. Really played well in the first round to beat him. But the fact that he's held on to his top 16 position meant he got in this event. He would have been in it anyway because, of course, the top 4 Chinese outside the top 16 also get invited. But it's good to be here, sort of as of right, as it were.
28.
Robertson suddenly sort of rooted to that chair, isn't he? But watchful, because he knows any moment he could be back at the table.
29.
Yeah, it maybe seems unthinkable that Ding would be outside the top 16. Obviously happened to him before, even the time he got to the World Championship final. He got through as a qualifier. But you just feel if he has the right appetite and puts the work in, he'd always be in the top 16. But he's not looking just to be in the top 16. He wants to get higher and back winning titles.
$35.
Seem to go hand in hand. Immaculate cue
36.
ball control and Ding playing at his best. These kind of instances never seems to be close to the side cushion, always seems to be right into the middle, hand on the table, able to play whatever shot he wants.
42.
Lovely tempo around the table, Ding, when he's
43.
at his best. By no means slow, but still measured, controlled, smooth. Not careless, but also by the same token, never looks for problems that aren't there.
50. $51.
So it's a question now of just closing this out. He won't need all the reds, of course. He won't need the safe ones. And it'll put him in front for the first time in this match.
58. $59.
This pink is the ball that should make it 4-3 to the local hero. Well, he's played some really good stuff since the interval.
65.
As you're saying, the best players in the world here, prestigious title, but of course, Ding going into deep, getting deep into the term to great advantage. suppose ideally they'd like a Ding Ronnie final.
Well,
they could arrange it.
72.
It kind of sport for choice a little bit in this tournament, but yeah, that would be an occasion, wouldn't it, on Sunday?
73.
Similar to the two previous frames, taking these very well.
79. Eighty-seven.
Now that red never quite looked in, but 87 to follow, breaks of 117 and 89. Three terrific frames from Ding Junhui. Smiles on the faces of the audience. Not so that man, Neil Robertson, suddenly in trouble here. Having led 3-1, Ding has won 3 on the spin to lead him 4-3. Well, it's still a very close match. There's only one frame in it, but all the momentum clearly with Ding. He's made 3 really good frame-winning breaks from 3-1 down to lead 4-3. So Neil Robertson, who I'm sure after the interval was looking to close it out pretty quickly, now he's trying to stay in touch. Certainly this is a big frame for him. Well, a double kiss, so there is a chance straight away here for the Melbourne man.
Yeah, very careless shot there from Ding. Should have been nowhere near the double kiss. First time in a while, good chance for Neil. Again, he's looking there to try and get an angle on the black. Again, pot the black, go into the pack, and he has the insurance of that red close to the right-hand side.
1.
Probably tempted here to play with a lot of topspin and running right-hand side, open them up. Played it very well. You can see as the white ball hit the pack, that little bit of running
8.
side just got through them. Of course, easier to play that shot when you know you have a red close to the pocket.
9.
Played it very well.
Well, we know how resolute Neil Robertson is, and he'll be looking to strike back immediately here, because the quality that Ding's produced, he's more than capable of replicating. It's turned into a really
16.
good match, hasn't it?
You sometimes find that in matches you shouldn't be really, because
17.
you're ultimately just playing the balls, but you can't be dictated by not just your opponent, but how well he's playing. And if they start making him big breaks, it just feels like natural that you then to do it. Having said that, looks like it's gone wrong there. Looks to be then just a thin clip on this red back into the left corner. Always a little bit more difficult, these kind of shots, when you know you should have something simpler. Got to forget about that and just pot it, just get it up for balk. Yeah, he'd be very disappointed.
Neil Robertson, 24.
Yeah, he just sort of finished in no man's land and was left with that one. He's not had a lot of table time, really, since the interval either. That's the other thing. But on this occasion, not punished.
Those shots a lot more difficult than they look, because the red's so close to the pocket. Nearly looks like a certainty, but can always be difficult just to judge them. Tendency is with those shots is to overcut.
This is why the snooker does such a test of the emotions, because Robertson, had the chance, didn't take it, sat down, maybe concerned it could be another frame slipping by, but not to be. And then he knocks that one in, and he knew it was in. He was up and ready for the colour.
Yeah, beautifully struck shot.
Ping.
Yeah, he was, I think, just clarifying with the referee the colour he's going to take here, the pink. They've had some big matches, these two, some big finals. They played in Beijing China Open final 2014. They played the Grand Prix final.
7.
Robertson won 2009. PTC Grand Finals in Ireland 2013 that Ding won.
8.
Two big occasion players. It's a perfect venue for them, really, the grand stage.
Lyu Robertson, 8.
Cardinals in there, snooker player. Playing the black. Obviously, must have just took his eye off it. Being preoccupied with what sort of split or cannon he was going to get on the reds. Again, I said 2 good chances in this frame. He doesn't look up, I'm sure he's frustrated there. But more important than how he's feeling, it's the chance he's given to Ding. So whether he's feeling good or bad, there's every chance he's going to be 5-3 down.
1.
In some ways, there's a little bit of pressure on Ding to capitalise on Neil missing those 2 chances. Ding knows, of course, not just with this, put him 1 frame away from winning. But it'll really hurt Neil, given that Neil had 2 good chances.
8.
Yeah, I mean, he was sort of trying to wrestle the match back from Ding, wasn't he? In the same style that Ding had won those frames, but it came to a shuddering halt there.
Yeah, generally Neil has played well, he's looked good, but there's probably been 2 misses. There was a red earlier in the second frame, and then that black that literally come out of nowhere. Again, that might be just pre-season, hasn't had too many matches. Just a little bit of sharpness, a little bit of attention to detail, maybe not quite there at the moment.
9.
Of course, when you make those mistakes, it doesn't help if your opponent steps in and clears up.
$16. 17. 24.
I think he's just having a look to see, can he pot the red? Can't clip the pack, just make sure he gives himself an angle, probably leave himself high on it. Again, still a couple of open reds,
25.
but the problem's going to be those 3 reds around the pink. Would it be from the black or even the red that's to the left of the 3? Potting one of those, can he disturb that cluster of 3? Looks like he's straight on the red to the left of those 3.
$33.
Great shot. You just feel now from here, pot the black, cannon the red to the right of the 3, and if he judges that cannon, that'll open the path down for the other 2.
41.
Not sure why he didn't play the cannon on those reds there. It looks like he's going to have to play it at some point anyway. They seem to be in absolute prime position.
$48.
16 ahead, looks to be wrong side of the red. Can he run through and disturb the reds and the pink?
$49.
Wasn't sure exactly where he was going to be on either the blue or the ball colours, but no matter where he was going to be in any one of those four was never going to be as nice as where he was a couple of shots ago on the black. Suppose you can always play that shot.
Well, the anticipation there as the cue ball made its way towards the three reds, everyone wondering whether he would get a nice split or not. My word. Did he ever? Doesn't want that red in the way of the blue, so it's just a slight annoyance.
Yeah, I think it's just blocked it. That blue, though, probably the most important shot of the match, the way it's worked out. Tremendous shot. Again, similar to previous frames.
Well, yeah, he's annoyed. There was a sort of half smile, and then suddenly he wanted to punch the table because the frame was basically done there.
Yeah, I don't know which is the biggest surprise, Ding punching the table or losing the white ball so badly. He had a massive margin for error there between pink or black. Just seemed to get into the little piece. And again, maybe because he'd done the hard work, maybe just literally a lapse of concentration. Took the clearance, then, or not just the clearance, the next few pots for granted.
Well, I said it's an emotional roller coaster. Within about 2 seconds there, he went from seeing the funny side to wanting to basically bring his fist down on the table. And he could understand it because the frame was basically done, wasn't it? And it's not done yet. Okay, he's got him snookered, but 27 in it, still 35 on. Nothing safe.
Yeah, of course, if you were guaranteed to go on and win the frame 5-3, no harm done. But that reaction's a byproduct of it's not a certainty now that he will win this frame. And what an opportunity that was. Likewise, Neil's aware, obviously, he's in trouble here, but if he can just somehow hit it and get away with it. Snooker being snooker, he could fluke it.
We know things can happen, they do happen. And the key thing really is that there's not a ball on a cushion, there's no security for Ding.
Obviously at the start of the frame, given the scoreline 4-3, this was a very important frame, but what's happened, Neil's had 2 great chances, Ding's had a fantastic chance. I'm not sure if he meant that, but that's certainly to his advantage, putting the black on the cushion. Not sure if the reds just went far enough. Can he just, with a thin clip, pot it? Excellent shot there.
Yeah, he's got his cool back after that little reaction earlier when he lost position.
difficult shot to hit. Obviously from one side, yellow looks in the way. One cushion. Might have to probably play off 2 cushions. The right hand side cushion up between pink and blue. Then judge the spread off the second cushion. Good hit, but of course at that pace, playing the swerve shot, if you were to hit the red, you'd no guarantee at all where it would go. Left a chance for Ding, but it's a tricky red. Even just having to drop it in, just needing the red to more or less win the frame, it's still difficult.
But in it goes, so you can forget about his travails earlier on. That should be 5-3, and what a recovery this has been.
It was noticeable actually on that shot, he knew the importance of it, how still he stayed on it, delivered the cue straight through. And certainly since the interval he's been very impressive. With the exception of that bang on the table, of course.
Well, of course, we talked about Ronnie O'Sullivan's record. He's won the last 3 stagings, but Ding, twice a winner of the Shanghai Masters as a ranking event. He's been in 2 semi-finals in Shanghai as well. So, again, this venue, this tournament, he's enjoyed over the years. One more frame needed. Can Neil Robertson just cut out a few errors and find his A game, make this closer? Well, the Chinese audience are liking what they're seeing here. He's played well, hasn't he, from 3-1 down, and Ding has put himself well and truly in the driving seat to
26.
Secure a quarter-final meeting with another Chinese player, Fang Zhengyi. So an eventful frame that, but it has gone the way of Ding Junhui. 4 on the spin for China's greatest. Plenty to think about for Neil Robertson. He needs to win the last 3 frames to avoid defeat here in the last 16. 5-3 to Ding. So 5-3 to Ding Junhui here at the grand stage, the Shanghai Masters, playing for a place in the quarterfinals. The match will resume very shortly with Neil Robertson, of course, needing to win the last 3, otherwise Ding will be into the last 8. Now, while this is going on, of course, La Vuelta continues. Stage 17, about 20 kilometres left to go, and of course the end in sight for one of these terrific Grand Tour races. I think snooker's difficult. This is a hard business, Fergal. At least you get to sit down and relax a little bit in snooker.
Yeah, I'm tired just looking at it.
Well, it continues across Eurosport and Discovery Plus, and as I say, there are just a few stages left there. Here, well, how many frames do we have left? Neil Robertson has just gone out of the arena to try and steel himself. He's had a few chances, hasn't he? But things just not sort of going for him. And Ding playing good stuff.
Yeah, a couple of unforced errors in that frame there. Particularly we missed a simple black.
Well, meantime, of course, there is another match on, and it's a good match next door. Sean Murphy and Robert Milkins. And I think we are going to have a look at it. It's 4-4, just gone 4 each. Milkins led 2-0. Murphy made breaks of 62, 135 and 94 to lead 4-2. Milkins won the next, and he's just 120. So it's 4-4, belting match. They always seem to bring the best out in one another, these two. And very much in the balance there. 4-4. The winner will play Luca Brissell, of course, tomorrow in the quarterfinals. But still plenty of snooker left there as well. You can watch that live on Discovery Plus as Robert Milkins knocks in a long one.
As he does.
A nice little nudge on the green as well. So 4-4 and all to play for.
Frame 9, Ding Junhui to break.
So can Ding Junhui bring this home? He's won the last 4 frames from 3-1 down. He leads Neil Robertson 5-3. He's played some terrific stuff along the way, but of course still needs that one more frame. And it would be a big win, of course. First tournament back in China for 4 years. Big deal for everyone, but particularly for him. And looking to kickstart his season. It's his first event since the World Championship.
Of course, if he wins, guarantees an all-Chinese quarterfinal, which of course one player definitely in the semi-finals.
Yeah, I mean, 9 Chinese players started out, just 2 left actually, both Fan and Ding, who, as Fergal says, would play each other.
Similar to Monday, if that was to happen, of course, slight role reversal. Ding being the favourite, more experienced player. Different mindsets coming out to play Neil Robertson. As I said earlier, playing the top players mentally, it's nearly a little bit easier. You know exactly what you have to do. You don't really second guess yourself. And certainly since the interval, Ding's played very, very well. But it's first to 6, not 5. So if there is any vulnerabilities in his game or his confidence, they will be exposed in the next frame or frames. I'm not sure Ding can clip any of the reds on the left-hand side and get back down the table. Probably just trying to play a dump shot, but just looking, if he leaves the white down this end of the table, will he leave a red? I think he's fearful of maybe leaving the red below the black spot.
Foul. Neil Robertson, 4.
One of those in-offs where you pretend you're disappointed. One way of getting the white back down the table. It seems to have an angle that he'd be able to pot the red and run through, avoid other reds. Trademark Neil Robertson pot, but very good considering the circumstances of the match. And hasn't had that much table time since the interval, but played really confidently.
Yeah, I remember Ronnie O'Sullivan saying last season about Mark Selby, who'd gone a while without winning a tournament. He said players like Selby and Trump and Robertson, they're just too good to go too long without winning something. I'm not saying it will be this week necessarily, but we know he will come good again because he's so good. But right now, he's trying to fight to stay in the Shanghai Masters.
Also interesting to see what Neil this season. In the summer he started working with Chris Henry. Will that have an impact? Obviously, had a look at his game and results during the summer, felt he needed to improve, or had certainly dipped his standards. Obviously brought Chris on board now. It'll be interesting to see the pair of them working together. Will that result in a change of fortunes?
Well, it can definitely help, can't it, in a long career to make a change. I mean, Mark Williams, of course, with the sight right, that was quite late on in his career, and I think some people felt he sort of had his time, and obviously that completely rejuvenated him. So it's interesting for a player to look at that and think, okay, what can I do to try and just switch things up?
Yeah, exactly. I think firstly, a coach, it's another pair of eyes. So maybe you were doing something wrong that you weren't aware of. They can spot that. But also even have somebody to talk to and clear issues that you might have in your head, real or imagined.
33.
And obviously Chris is a very experienced, very successful coach. Could be a great pairing together. But again, you have to admire Neil for the career he's had, that he is looking to get better. He wants to get back to where he was. And certainly I'd say his main goal is obviously to try and win another world title. Again, in the short term, continue that amazing run of winning a tournament every year.
41.
Wanted a slightly better angle on the back. Need to be a little bit lower, parallel with the black. I think if he had an angle, he would have went into that cluster there. Again, he's just trying to look if he forces the black. Can he stun up? Is there a little gap between the reds? I think he's having looked at. Is there those two reds plant into the middle? Similar to the last frame. Black missed out of
Lyu
nowhere.
Robertson, 41.
Yeah, trying to sort of force an angle. The pace, he's missed the black, and that's a concern clearly as Ding comes to the table with his first chance to get it won. The red stays out though, so it's a big reprieve that.
Yeah, the missing the black, trying to force an angle, what necessarily wasn't the mistake. He should have had the angle originally on the black. But again, quite fortunate, got away with it. And again, he'd soon forget that missed black, get back in.
Yeah, I mean, at this stage, it doesn't really matter how you win the frames. You just need to win them, try and put pressure on Ding and try and take us the distance. It'd be great for the audience, I'm sure, to see the full 11, although many of them, I'm sure, also want Ding to come through.
Yeah, Ding will be a little bit disappointed. It was a tricky enough little red, but obviously it having the black right over the centre pocket, he felt if that went in, it was his first chance to maybe try and close out the match. But as it looks likely now, Neil will win this frame to make it 5-4.
Don't think it mind me saying in his early days he struggled in China actually, whether it was the jet lag or the travelling, I don't know. But he started then to put that to bed. He's won 4 ranking titles in total here. He's been in the semis in Shanghai back in 2018.
23.
Yes, of course, the China Open, he was the last winner of that in 2019. That's the last time that event was staged. And that had become a really big tournament, huge prize money.
24.
So, despite the missed black, it looks like it's his frame, and looks like we're going into at least one more.
$30. 31.
Obviously, it's a nice chance here. The frame's over, but it's also noticeable.
38.
Neil's definitely picked up his pace a little piece. His pace a little piece. Maybe Phil's gone a little bit slower, trying to be a little bit too careful. Again, just trying to get a little bit of fluency and rhythm, particularly as we're coming towards the end of the match.
Yeah, the average shot time is actually
46.
pretty much identical, both just over 24 seconds for the whole match.
Yeah, you can actually start to hear the footsteps. Sean Murphy will probably hear that on the other table and get jealous. Stomp a little bit more than usual.
54.
Obviously, by no stretch of the imagination, it's 24 seconds slow. But Neil, at certain times the last year too, maybe a byproduct of it, slight lack of confidence, was getting up to close to 30 seconds, and certainly for him, that's not him at his best.
62.
Won't always be open frames, able to score heavy breaks, but certainly For Neil, anything over
63.
25 seconds is probably excessively slow for him.
Well, it's not going to be a century, but that's the least of his worries right now.
69.
It could have been over if Ding had potted that red to left middle. Who knows? That could have been it, but he didn't. Robertson delighted to be able to put these away, take us into a 10th frame in this best of 11 encounter.
72.
Had a few deciders already. Of course, last night Mark Selby burnt the midnight oil to see off the same Bafide. Judd Trump had beaten Jack Lazowski as well. Are we going to get another one?
Robertson, 72 and 20.
Neil Robertson hopes so. 72 in that frame after the early break that he made before missing the black. So a possible 2 frames remain. Ding needs 1 and Neil Robertson needs them both. 5-4 it is to Ding. It's on a knife edge. Australia v China here. It's Neil Robertson v Ding Junhui, and it's 5-4 to Ding. Robertson's won the last frame though,
Frame
and he's
10,
looking
Lyu
to
Robertson
force
to
now the
break.
deciding frame finish.
Fantastic pot. Got a little bit low on the black, which makes the pot more difficult, but of course, he's guaranteed now to disturb the pack if he pots the black. A little bit unfortunate, probably thought the pack would disturb a little bit more, but couldn't
8.
jeopardise the pot on the black to guarantee a bigger split. Maybe this red at the end of the pack goes.
Ding Junhui, 8.
Well, okay, he didn't continue there, but in general, the body language is good for Ding supporters, I think. He's gone on the attack. Problem is, that's Robertson's game as well.
One.
Definitely for both players, you feel much more of a threat of one of them winning in one visit. Very high quality match. A lot of breaks, a lot of scoring. Of course, there's been a couple of simple misses. You're going to get that probably in the best of 11. But even the standard and safety play has been very good. Again, for either player, if they can win and get through, stand them in good stead.
This is a delicate operation, isn't it, this pink? But the referee, Lyu Zhiwei, steady hands needed here.
Yeah, not a time to drop it.
Got to be in a line with the spots. It's close to the red, but without touching it. This is like an anxiety dream for a referee, this.
Looks a little bit to the left there.
7.
I think even if the pink wasn't right, I don't think anybody's that hard to tell her.
8.
Well, it's not a great angle, is it, here?
Yeah, and funny enough, maybe that delay in trying to get the pink back perfect, just lost a little bit of rhythm, lost a little bit of concentration.
Well, it's interesting. Ronnie O'Sullivan always goes and sits down. He just takes it out of the equation. You tell me when you've done it, I'll come back to the table. So he's not standing there anxious to play the next shot.
Yeah, because it's one of those things you don't know exactly. It's not like as she starts, she's going to say to you, it's going to be 30 seconds and you can work that out. You're always just kind of waiting up behind. Probably the right way for Ronnie is to, the way Ronnie does it is to just forget about it and regroup. But you feel if the pink had spotted normally, not only would he pot the red, but he would have had the perfect angle on the blue. Just trying to manufacture something here. Barely no angle.
There's a sort of late surge with his body as well, just trying to really get the reds something into play.
13.
Move the table, hoping that'll open them a little bit more.
It was a good effort, that, wasn't it?
But it was fantastic effort.
Just didn't quite get the little bit of running he needed.
Yeah, little or no angle there. Tremendous amount of left-hand running side to try and disturb.
Lyu Robertson, 13.
Choice here for Ding. Could maybe play the red that's on the right hand side. A thin clip. It looks like he's maybe coming off the pack. Of course, he's going to open the reds up here. Actually, might be tempted with the red on the right or the left hand side. Yeah. Probably thought if he played the safety thick off the pack, okay, it's great, you're going to open them up. But you more or less would have to be sure that you could get a good white ball. Again, 5-4 up, you don't want to be taking any unnecessary risks. Same again, just played the single red. Felt it was more likely to keep it safe. Has left Neil a shot to nothing, be able to pot it, come around the back of the black, up into balk. Wasn't too concerned with position, just tried to make sure the pot as best he can. Usually if you play that, worst case scenario, you might have a chance of one of the ball colours into the middle pockets. And play that very well.
Four. Five.
Again, nicely low on the black, be able to pot and go into the pack with pace. Needs a little bit of luck. Just got more of a glancing blow on the pack there, but he's got them open, got that nice little kiss on the brown, and now this is a very good chance.
Can make such a difference, just a little kiss like that, but you know, he's played the positive shot.
13.
And now, what a chance to take us all the way.
Yeah, belated little wave there to Ding, apologising for that little kiss on the brown. Again, should have been right side of the blue, but shouldn't be any problem with potting this red and then being on the black.
Still 4-4, by the way, next door. Murphy and Milkins on the brown, so another close, exciting match there.
$19.
The reds slightly blocking each other. Must either play to land on a very small margin or maybe take a bit of a gamble to play a little bit of a cannon. Just try to put it into an area and hopefully, yeah, that was the danger. I think he still has a red here.
26.
Need the extension. Still be able to pot it and come around off two cushions, probably for the black.
It's just a lot tougher than it should have been at this delicate stage in the match. Ding waiting if he slips up. All the long stuff out here. Well, it's turned into an adventure, but he's okay. He's also managed to get all the long stuff away again, which is not always straightforward. Saw Mark Allen once at the Masters with all that stuff. He just managed to drop them into all the reds.
It was great to see, wasn't it?
Anyway, he continues, just looking to get back up nicely on a red here.
You feel this is frame ball here. Just on the pink spot. Needs to be struck well. Straight cue required. Beautiful.
Well, as you say, Fergal, it looks like we're going all the way, and it's been a really exciting contest. This, of course, Robertson made the running before the until Ding has made it since, but this is a late rally from the Aussie. And it looks like it's going to come down to a final frame shootout.
Yeah, very high quality match.
40.
Very few mistakes. And even Ding 5-3 up, now going 5-all. You can't really say he's made a massive mistake or had a chance to win it.
No, and the thing is, they've both played the positive game, haven't they? They've both gone for their shots. They've both tried to make things happen.
48.
Yeah, it's been great viewing.
Definitely that extra little bit of fluency now in Neil's game.
49.
So 54 in front. This black is effectively frame ball. Round of applause. Plenty of people here are snooker fans first and foremost. Obviously, Ding's going to get support, the local man, of course he is, but they've been waiting to see top-level snooker here in Shanghai for 4 years, and this tournament has delivered already, and this match is delivering now. Jack Lazowski was involved in 2 deciders. Of course, Mark Selby won one yesterday, so this now
63.
the 4th of the tournament.
64.
Yeah, whichever player wins, I think he'll have take a lot of confidence from this.
71.
Yeah, and the other side of the coin, it shows that you can play well in this game and not win. You know, I mean, whoever loses hasn't done much wrong, have they?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if Ding was to lose, okay, he's lost the last 3 frames, but it's not like he's had 3 chances or a chance in every frame.
Well, Robertson, I think, was eyeing another century, but he'll be happy enough with the frame. That's the main thing. He's taken us the distance. One more frame to decide things here. Neil Robertson and Ding Junhui, 5-all. It's all on the next one. In terms of previous meetings between Robertson and Ding, it's 8-6 on the head-to-head to Robertson. And for what it's worth, they've only actually played 2 deciders against each other. It's 1 each, so not really much to read into all that. Of course, Ding hasn't beaten him for 9 years, but they've not played for 3. The last meeting was at the Champion of Champions in Milton Keynes, the lockdown era, 2020. So not a lot of recent meetings to go on. It's just who, I guess, A, gets the chance in the decider, and B, can they take it? We'll find out when Ding returns. Getting plenty of support, of course, as he comes back into the arena. So this is it then, the last frame.
Final frame, Ding Junhui to break.
Ding Junhui led 5-3. It's now 5-all. This is the deciding frame. Neil Robertson has come back strongly.
He'll just having a look to see, can he make that plant? It's a shot to lovely, of course. Actually, glanced off another red. Yeah, it seems to have blocked off the right-hand side with the green. It obviously can hit the red on the side cushion, but it's tied to the side cushion, so playing the safety off it, always that little bit more difficult, can get that double kiss. That's why he's just trying to nestle up to the pack. Looks like he's hit the pink.
Foul and a miss. Lyu Robertson, 6.
Yeah, I think he'll have another go at that. Be interested to see if he hits the pink again. What he do in his third attempt? Obviously, third attempt, he'd lose the frame. But yeah, that red on the left-hand side just being tied to the cushion just makes the difference. If that was away from the cushion, he'd have played a glance off it. Again, still a big target here to come off the cushion and hit one of the reds below the pink and not leave a red on, of course. Just played a containing safety there.
Because I said you're never quite sure what sort of decider you're going to get. I'm sat next to someone who took part in a 2-hour decider. I had to bring it up, Fergal, you and Dave Gilbert, because it was to get to the Crucible. It was a very specific match.
I'm surprised it took you this long, Dave.
I'm surprised it took you so long. Yeah, but that was, I think you were an hour on the yellow.
Just the hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully for me, Dave, and everybody involved, never repeated. Desperate to get into the Guinness Book of World Records. To be fair, Dave's not normally that slow.
Well, also, we should mention Dave Ford, who was the referee, who, of course, had to be there
Since
to the end as
retired.
well. Yeah, well, yeah. Don't think this will be quite that long, but who's going to get the first chance? That's the question. And then can they take it? It's been a high-scoring match, but of course this is a different sort of frame. It's the last frame.
In a high-scoring match, you generally feel the decider tends to be more a scrappy affair rather than one-on-one visit.
That's the view that Ding has. Not too happy a view. I actually had a message from Neil Folds, our colleague, to say he also took part in that decider because he was commentating the hidden victims. Yeah, of course, as I say, it was to get to the Crucible, so it was a big deal.
The less said, the better, I think, Dave.
This is such a big frame. I mean, to continue in this tournament with the chance to go deeper, early season, both looking for confidence. You know, whoever wins it obviously has that chance. They'll be favourite, let's be honest, against Fan, despite the big wins he's had. But equally defeat, it's a setback.
I suppose even in defeat, it's been, as I said, a high-quality game that even in defeat, of course, you're going to be disappointed, particularly Ding if he's 5-3 up. But has been positives for both players. I said we have a very busy run of events coming up. This tournament, this field, very prestigious.
Yeah, good return that from Ding, and Robertson just acknowledging that. The etiquette still very much intact in this very important last frame.
I feel it's inevitable that whoever wins this tournament will go on and have a great season. Excellent safety there from Ding. Hit it very thin, but had to hit it very thin. If it hit that any thicker, not only would it collide with the black, but also the red on the left-hand side would have went closer to the pocket. Very good shot. Big shot here for Ding to take on. Not just to pot it, but to stun off the cushion and have the black back into that same pocket. Great shot.
Well, the old cliche in a decider is all you need is a chance. Now, sometimes you need 3 or 4, but this is Ding's first. Been good to see him again. We haven't seen him since the World Championship. Of course, he's on home soil. How he would love, and how his fans here would love to see him in the next round as well.
Kind of situation, obviously, 5-3 up, you want to win 6-3. But your opponent does come back to 5-all, and you win that last frame, particularly with a break. If anything, it's better. It gives you more confidence. And if you knew you were going to win the decider, that'd probably stand to you even more. But after potting this red, we're just looking to get that angle on the black. Might play a gentle cannon off the black
16.
to the red on the right hand side. Then that'll leave 2 to the left corner. Might be able to get that angle. Might have to leave himself high on the black instead.
17.
He would have traced the left hand side, check side to try and get a better position. Might just be forced of playing the black. Red in the middle.
A
few nervous faces there, excited faces as well.
Yeah, it was actually a better shot on the previous red than it looked. Just that little bit of trace of left-hand check side, just to give himself that slight angle. He was able to play that positional shot.
25.
And looking to pot this. Ideally get low on the red bottom of the pack. This could be the frame and match decider here. Pot this.
32.
Screw back away from it. Or is he playing the one higher up?
33.
Left himself the choice. A couple of open reds, but he's going to need more than those to want to win it. But in a decider, under pressure, cue ball control can easily be lost. It's as surprised as anyone there, Ding.
Well, it's amazing the white's finished there, miles away from where he wanted to be.
It didn't look on contact that he hit it too hard. Maybe an extra bit of adrenaline, connected a little bit of left-hand side, in this case a bit of running. Certainly off the second cushion, it seemed to gather pace. Again, Neil would certainly be relieved. Just trying to adjust the angle here to clip off the red, come off 2 cushions, and leave it behind the yellow and brown.
So he did have a chance. It went wrong. 34 the difference. And of course it made a difference that he didn't get the snooker either. So Robertson just looking at potential shots to nothing and plants and delighted that he's still in this match. Well, that little kiss on the green has made all the difference there, my word. And these little nudges at the vital times can be so significant.
Yeah, that was obviously his intention to leave it behind there, but very fortunate there. Because it was such a big target, hand on the table, to find that he would have expected nearly to find that target. And he was a good bit away, but beautiful glance on the green. He got there anyway.
There was no reaction at all, though, from Robertson. You know, he just got on with it, which is good. Good attitude, as you'd expect from him. Played a nice shot.
Having a look. At first glance, he might have been tempted by, was he going to try and play the red into the other reds and maybe try and get the white behind the black, but very risky. If he didn't get the snooker, there's a good chance he could leave a red. Don't think he's able to get the white ball over behind the yellow and brown. Might just glance off the red that's nearest and leave it in the jaws of the green pocket. But he's reluctant to do that because he knows it's not quite a telling safety. Yeah, didn't really have much option there. Neil trying to have a look. Does the plant, does the red below the pink go? Maybe that's why Ding in the previous shot did take so long, he was just reluctant. So whilst the white was down the table, it wasn't really safe as such, he'd left a shot to nothing.
So Ding has had a chance, he broke down. Neil Robertson is in. Pressure on both, though. It's been a high quality match. But it could have been over by now, he could have been out by now.
Yeah, beautiful shot there.
5.
Actually played a nice shot on the green. Wasn't tempted to try and force it and get perfect on the red straight away. Tried to do it in 2 stages.
He's one perhaps failing today. He's just been losing control of the white here and there. This would be the perfect time not to do that, wouldn't it? Because this is now a seriously good chance.
Absolutely. Yeah, I said he left himself,
10.
made the most of the green, put a very good red, and now this is the chance.
11.
The top players, usually highest pressurized situation, they're nearly more likely to clear up. There won't be that lapse, or less likely to have that lapse in concentration. Of course, they feel the pressure, but it seems to just need to be an asset to them and just focus even a bit more.
I think the top
17.
players look at a situation like this and think, great, what an opportunity, not, oh no, what could go wrong? You know, that's what separates
18.
the players. They're not anxious about messing it up. Robertson will be thinking this is really for him, meat and drink. Just got to focus.
And definitely the top players, this kind of situation, what they'll do here now in the last frame is the exact same as they do in practice.
25.
There's no scoreboard there.
26.
You would know the importance of it. Generally tend to keep to their routine, keep positive. And again, love the challenge. In the deciding frame, this is as good a chance as you could possibly hope for.
33.
And who's to say, you know, on Sunday we could be looking back with Neil Robertson holding the trophy saying, remember that match with Ding that he just came through. Got to finish the job here first.
34.
So couldn't be closer. 5 each, 40 each, but Robertson favourite because he's at the table.
Yeah, this doesn't look like there's much
41.
hope here for Ding. Just maybe. In fact, it's early on in the season.
42.
There might be a slight lack of sharpness, but unlikely. I said you fully expect a player of Neil's calibre just to mop these up.
$49.
Again, 15 ahead. Will need all 3 reds. Would need a colour off the 3rd red, but
$50.
just make sure he's an angle on either the black or pink. Again, pot this black, play for an area, give himself an option of the 2 reds. Just really take it from there.
$57.
Looks simple enough. Just put this red stun through for the pink. Just leave yourself that ideally a little angle on the pink if you can. Get close to the last red. Yeah, perfect.
58.
Yes, and no romantic notions of trying to make a century either. Just get the match won now. Had he played for the black, he could have made the century. It doesn't matter about that. He'd make more in the next round. Just win the match. He's on his mind, of course.
.30 ahead now, just needs this red.
Well, it's a great win. It's been a great match. Ding did have the first chance in the decider, just lost position. And eventually Robertson got in with a long red. He'll be delighted because Well, he's missed that. That won't delight him. So he looks at the scoreboard, 31 in it. You never know, dear. That could, well, we'll see. Snooker needed, but that could come back to haunt him.
Yeah, very careless.
Well, I tell you, if he loses now, the flight home is going to be very uncomfortable thinking about that.
Yeah, particularly for somebody of his experience, to literally nod off after putting what he thought was frame a match ball. Still obviously a strong favourite, but if you played snooker and been around long enough, you can see it. You can see the potential for disaster here.
Well, the snooker gods might have their say. You know, sometimes off the green might put him through a bit of pain.
Yeah, it's important here for Ding. Ideally, you're looking to get a snooker, but first and foremost, keep the yellow on the table as long as possible. Try and be patient and wait for. If you keep the yellow in this instance on the table long enough, you will probably get a really good chance. It has left Neil a shot to nothing. It was never going to be that easy. You just pot it and be on the green. Yeah, it just needs to be careful here. It doesn't try to be too clever. This isn't really a shot, I don't think, to try and get a snooker. Just make sure you get the yellow safe. Double kisses on. Play that well.
Just for a minute, you know, I thought he'd knock that in.
He compounded the issue.
But he's got Ding in a snooker. So it's hard to control exactly where they're going to finish here. Well, it's blue anyway, so surely that is that now.
Robertson, 5.
He played really well from 3-1 down, Ding. He made a century. A couple of other big breaks as well. And he did have a chance in this decider. The signs are good, but obviously he wanted to continue in the Shanghai Masters. Seems unlikely now. 36 in it, 27 on, so 3 snookers needed.
Yeah, Neil took a hell of a gamble playing that shot in the yellows that nearly pot the green, but as it turned out, it's difficult to escape for Ding. All of a sudden, just has a totally different feel about it. We're about getting 1 snooker. Then they'll get 3 or maybe 2, depending on what colour he got the snooker from.
Well, it looks like Chinese hopes are going to rest on Fang Zhengyi, but the only Chinese player left. He'll take on Robertson next, assuming Robertson comes through here.
That little nudge on the black didn't help things cause either. Makes it even harder to get a snooker.
I mean, in Ding's mind, I'm sure he's feeling, well, I've got to give it a go, obviously, but, you know, it looked more likely when it was one snooker that you could see a bit of anxiety from Robertson, but this is going to be tough, clearly. Yeah, I'm not saying his heart's not in it, but you can sort of feel that deep inside he doesn't think he's going to turn this round now.
Yeah, getting desperate. I feel he's more likely to leave the yellow on than get a snooker.
Well, again, he's going to have to escape from one. Because all this would have been avoided had Robertson just knocked that green in earlier off the last red. Nearly doubled it.
Excellent shot there. Just to get the white behind the brown, but as a bonus. Of course, the yellow being so close to the blue.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Don't hit the blue, because then it would be one snooker to tie again. So that's what he can't afford to do. Just hit the yellow.
Yeah, this seems to happen a lot when a player needs a snooker. That seem to just have a series of shots where it just feels like you're just walking into a snooker. It's a good escape there from Neil. Again, we're talking about losing a little bit of heart or hope. All of a sudden you just get one snooker. It'll be long to turn around. That said, it's important for Ding just trying to be as patient as they can. Just keep the yellow on the table. Don't get too desperate.
Well, needless to say, don't hit the pink. Players are so good, aren't they, these days at getting out of snookers.
It's another excellent attempt there. Careful here. Easy enough just to hit the yellow, but of course could hit the yellow going off. Played it very well. Another excellent shot.
No, absolutely. Credit to Ding. I mean, he could have shaken hands, couldn't he? But he's given this every effort.
Another excellent attempt, a little bit unfortunate. A gentle swerve, should be able to hit it. That black being tied up. Just a level of frustration there for Ding with it. Ideally, if an opportunity came up, just to try and get it away. We have a chance of another snooker here. Play the yellow up and down. Bring the white over close to the green. I think Play's reaction is just left that gap. Yep.
Well, that would have been a twist, wouldn't it, if the brown had gone in?
Particularly at that pace. I think he's just debating here whether to pot the yellow or not. Play safe off it. It's not that easy. But obviously wants to keep as many colour balls on the table as possible. Good shot.
Yeah, so this is where it could end possibly if he leaves the yellow on. Well, he's not hit it actually. And surely, yes, there's the concession. It's been a very entertaining match. Neil Robertson led 3-1 at the interval. Ding really turned it on to lead 5-3. But Neil Robertson showed real resolve to stay in there. He played a good decider, made a break of 65. Ding unable to get the snookers. So the home hero is out, and it's Fang Zhengyi next for Neil Robertson in the quarterfinals. He advances here in Shanghai, a winner by 6 frames to 5.